This is the Fan Edit channel.
There are fans and there are normies. A fan edit is an edit made by a fan of an already existing film or TV show, usually made by a normie, that the fan is a fan of. And a fan is not a normie. In his book, How to Read a Film, James Monaco asserted that a film can be read like a novel, so a movie or a TV show is a text, an audio-visual text. An audio-visual text has two component parts: what you see, the visual part, and what you hear, the audible part. These two information streams are processed by your brain during the act of watching the film to determine its value and artistic merit. In other words, whether it's good or not, however you define what a good film is. There are multiple layers of meaning within a film text, signs and signifiers that the audience assimilate, interpret and decode to find their own meaning within it. Often, the audience will determine interpretive meanings within the text that were not consciously in the minds of those who created it. The audience for any movie or TV show is made up of fans and normies. A normie is someone who watches the film and enjoys it, but his engagement with it ends when it's over. The normie's textual engagement is durational. Once it's over, he gets on with something else. The fan, on the other hand, remains engaged with the text beyond its duration. Once it's over, he continues to think about the storytelling world and the characters' lives, both before the story in the film and after. Fans remain engaged enough in the text to consume paratexts related to it. A paratext is all the textual information related to the text that is not the text itself. Let's take the original 1977 Star Wars film as an example. The film itself is the text. The paratexts are the toys, trading cards, movie posters, comic book adaptations, novelizations, interviews in magazines, photographs for publicity or screen grabs, what have you. If the text is the sun, then the paratexts are the planets orbiting around it. Now, this interest in paratextual content is one of the signs that someone is a fan of something and not just a normie who enjoys it enough to buy it when it comes out on DVD. Another hallmark of fans, out with paratexts, is immersion. Immersion is a deeper form of engagement with the text. Immersion is when someone doesn't just engage with the story within the text, but considers and imagines the events that took place both before and after the story in the text. Immersive engagement leads to fanish considerations of the text that normies don't consider. In the same way that Monty Python fans can quote the parrot sketch verbatim in its entirety, the immersive engagement of Star Wars fans manifests itself in a detailed and encyclopedic knowledge of the story world, its characters, institutions, technology, and chronology, a knowledge not available to, or of interest to, normies. Another thing that differentiates a fan from a normie is repetitious revisitation. A normie who purchases a fan text on DVD or Blu-ray, such as Star Wars, Doctor Who, Star Trek, whatever, will only revisit that text occasionally when the mood takes them. A fan, on the other hand, will consciously and intentionally revisit the text multiple times. Doing so makes the fan aware of component parts of the text that pass the normie by. This awareness takes two forms. The first is a heightened awareness of that which is contained within the frame and its auditory accompaniment, and the second is a subjective analysis of the underlying narrative structure. With regard to that which is within the frame, in the case of classic Doctor Who, for example, the fan will, through their repeated viewings, consider that which is in the frame other than the intentional focus the director and the script have directed the viewer's eye towards. When the text can only be engaged with once, the attention of the viewer will be on whichever actor is speaking, usually placed in the centre of the frame. With the opportunity to engage with the text multiple times, however, the viewer can consider the entire content of the frame rather than the intended focus of it. This is when fans start to notice things that draw attention to the artifice of the construction of the text. In narrative terms, the fan can, through multiple instances of engagement, consider the narrative more closely, and in doing so they can become consciously aware of moments which seem out of place tonally with the piece as a whole. Usually these are subconsciously registered at the time, only being made conscious when the fan is able to engage with the text on his own terms, on DVD or Blu-ray or via online streaming, where they are in control of the viewing experience. This awareness of perceived flaws in an otherwise perfect text is the initial impetus behind fan editing. It's only a small leap from awareness of the flaw to considering how improved the text would be if the flaw were removed. This is why, for the most part, fan editing is an exercise in reduction. If film editing is the art of the cut, then fan editing is the art of the recut. And that's what we will look at in the next video.